Hey everyone, and welcome. We're often told that the most important journey is the one we take inward. But what if there's an actual, method for that journey? A key to unlock a hidden treasure you already have? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
So, this whole explainer really kicks off with this one big question. And it's perfect, right? It just immediately makes you stop and think, what is this mysterious key that we all supposedly have? And I mean, what kind of treasure are we even talking about?
Okay, this is where it gets really, really interesting. This huge philosophical idea gets connected to something we do every single day, taking a selfie. Think about it. A selfie, it just captures your appearance, the surface. Well, according to this idea, that's just the case. It's like the fancy box that holds the key, but it is not the key itself.
So, it seems like if we want to find this treasure, the first thing we have to do is really understand the relationship between our outer self, the case, and our inner self, the key.
This is the next logical question, isn't it? I mean, if we spend so much of our time polishing the case, you've got to ask, what's the key even for? Sure, the case protects it, but the key itself, it must be for unlocking something much, much bigger. And that's the real mystery we're trying to unpack here. So, if we all have this key, how come we don't seem to use it? Well, the idea here is that most of us get stuck. We end up kind of floundering between two extremes. And it's a struggle that feels, honestly, very modern. And here they are, those two extremes. On one side, you've got materialism. It's all about what we can see and touch, the physical stuff of the world. And on the other side, spiritualism, which is all about the unseen, the abstract, what the Source calls the causer of causes, that ultimate force behind everything. The problem is, we get totally lost when we focus only on one and ignore the other. And this brings us to a really important distinction. In a world that's just overflowing with information, you have two choices. You can either deepen your understanding by seeing how it all connects, or you can drown in all that noise and just feel completely overwhelmed. Just being exposed to more and more stuff isn't the answer. Without a guide, we just end up, floundering. The good news is we are not the first people to ever face this challenge. To find our way out of this drowning state, we can actually look to some guides from the past who figured out exactly how to navigate these waters. Now, the Source points to two incredible guides. First, we have Muhyiddin Abi. He focused on the material world, the works and causes, and what he found was unity in diversity. He saw how all the different things in the world are really part of one big interconnected system. Then you have Imam Rabbani, who kind of did the exact opposite. He focused on the ultimate spiritual source and found oneness in unity, seeing how that single source is expressed in everything. So you see, two very different paths, but they lead to the same destination. So for people who felt totally lost in the material world, just overwhelmed by all the separate things and events, Arabia's path was like a lifeline. It helped them see how everything was actually connected, a single whole expressed in countless different ways. And that understanding, it brought peace of mind.
And what about the people on the other side of the coin, the ones lost in abstract spiritual ideas? Well, Rabbani's path showed them that the unity they felt wasn't just some vague idea, but a singular oneness. This gave them an anchor, and that also led to peace. So, what do we do today when we're often floundering in both at the same time?
Well, this leads us to the practical method, the way to actually use our key. The Source argues that the answer is a very specific, deliberate practice, contemplation. And this right here is the question that really matters. The philosophy is fascinating, but how do we do this? How can we actually build this practice into our own lives so we can stop floundering and start deepening? And the Source lays out a beautifully simple 4-step plan. First, you have to be a good reader and listener. Really pay attention to the world. Second, reflect on your experiences. Don't just let them wash over you. Third, and this is important, write down those reflections. Give them some shape. And finally, make it a real habit by setting aside a specific time for it. It's not complicated, but it is incredibly powerful. And that brings us right back to where we started. We began with this idea of a hidden treasure. We've talked about the case and the key, the struggle, and the guides from the past. And now we have the method. Contemplation. That's how we finally turn the key.
Because without this practice, our perception is just stuck on the surface. We're stuck looking at the case, the outside of everything. We can gather endless amounts of information, collect facts, but we never actually get to wisdom. We might have knowledge, but wisdom stays locked away.
This is the core message, really. Contemplation isn't just one tool out of many. It's presented as the singular key, the one practice that transforms information into real insight. It's the bridge that takes you from just knowing stuff to actually being wise. And so we end here. You carry the case with you every single day. The key to a deeper reality, to true wisdom, is already inside you. The only question left is the one that only you can answer. What treasure will you unlock?